Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute. Chantal, how'd this sound? How does this sound now compared to the problem you were having with the other headset? It seems better. You're not sure. You think it might be your computer or your headset, maybe? Let me check. Whenever I think that there's like an old joke, let me check, and the person doesn't check, let me check. Like someone asks you something that's definite and they go, let me check, and they don't check. It's like an old joke. It's really funny. Hey, good morning, Jody. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the U.S. Retail Report. Welcome, everybody on YouTube. It's the trade room for 10-minute trades. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-minute trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. All right, this morning, it's retail by itself for a change. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to watch the ES. The ES, there is a note on the DMM that the ES as an alternative setup. I've tested it. I don't believe that it's working, so I would not trade it. I just don't think it's been behaving. I want to watch the ES because our testing on the NQ on this report was pretty irrational. The behavior was very difficult to trade. I want to look up something real quick. So we were going to have a trade room at 9:30. We have a trade room at 9 o'clock for capacity utilization. And there's a 10 o'clock event, University of Michigan. I can't, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that trade room. I canceled it yesterday. I was hoping I could change something that I have to do today, and I can't. So we will not be staying in the capacity utilization room past 9. I have to leave at 9:25. It happens every now and then. I wanted to look up one thing really fast. I don't think it's going to matter, actually. I think I'm not going to bother. All right. So retail is a trap trade. All right. So if you're not familiar with the trap trade, I'm testing a slightly updated of the trap trade because there's a couple of things that got that are a little bit confusing on our current strategy for the trap trade. So I've already fixed it, but I didn't want to run live software on a trade, on a retail trade, because it's a fair amount of risk. I didn't want to test. In other words, I want to test the software in sim first. I didn't want to test it live because I just literally got it. There's a couple of things that'll make things more understandable and easier to set up the strategy. So don't feel a little bit confused today. It's not going to be as confusing the next time that we do the trap trade. I'm always trying to find more and more trap trades also. It's hard. They require an unbelievable amount of testing. So the markets are a bit down this morning. The ES is down. NQ's been getting hammered. And then it's been turning around. I mean, the volatility has been crazy. Volatility's really been something else. I mean, I remember looking at the prices the other day, and the NASDAQ was down like, what was it, 200 points? And at the end of the day, it wasn't down anymore. I mean, that's beyond comprehension, but normal for these days. Normal for these days. Okay, so let's pull out the DMM. So this morning we're doing retail, right? And really all we have is retail news, which is a little bit unusual. We've had so many reports with other reports. Today there's just a major report, retail. So here's the DMM. My biggest problem with retail is I don't stay in the trade long enough. That's my biggest problem. Today, I'm really going to try and be patient. I'm going to try and be patient. It's been working very nicely as a trap trade. So what is a trap trade? A trap trade is a report. It's a reaction that we expect to move in multiple directions. We buy and sell in the opposite direction of the market. So when the market moves up, we sell. When the market goes down, through our orders, we buy. And that also makes it lower slippage. Very little slippage, actually. Okay. So that's what's quite interesting about a trap trade. You can't look at an event like a lot of people say, oh wow, oil, that's a trap trade because it goes up and down, but you can't do it that way. You have to actually really test, because sometimes something will look like a trap trade, but the moves are too big and it won't work. So what's the enemy of a trap trade? The enemy of a trap trade is the perfect breakout trade. Okay, the enemy of a trap trade is the perfect breakout trade. So let's look at a trap trade that was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. November. Let me see what I was doing here. Let me see. Hang on. I got to make sure I have the right video. Bear with me. Okay, so November, we have a trap. Okay, so this is what a trap trade looks like. This happened to be October, but it doesn't really matter because the video has a video in a video, which we do all the time. So if you look, this orange arrow, that's the current price at the time these X's showed up on the screen. The X's are our orders, right? Everybody knows that. But instead of, if it goes up, you buy the market. If it goes up, you see it says sell. We're selling the market. So a trap trade, and then when it reverses and changes direction, that's when you get your profit. So the enemy of a trap trade is a move up in one direction. And I'll show you the enemy. But this was a trap trade in November that actually made a few dollars. I'm just fast forwarding the video. So there's my orders. I'm not going to put my orders on the screen quite as early as I did back in November. But so in November, you could see our orders show up on the chart. All right. And we call the orders tiers in the trap trade. It's an old tradition. Okay. If I change it, my boss will kill me. He'll kill me. He loves keeping things the way they were as much as possible. That's his DNA. So I'm not going to change. I think they should be called orders, but we call them tiers. Okay. So these are the upper tiers. These are the lower tiers, but we know they're orders. All right. It's simple. They're orders. They're no different than They're opposite direction breakouts. Think of it as an opposite direction breakout trade, right? When we go up, we're selling. When we go down, we're buying. It's not really that complicated. And see, there's a history, a tradition in the trap trade where we used to put the orders on 40 seconds before the news. Now, markets are so much more volatile now than they used to be. We would never dream of doing that. You don't want to get filled early. And even in a trap trade where the tiers, the orders are far, they can be pretty far from current price sometimes. You still don't want to get filled early. So it's 8:30. Nothing has happened yet. The news is out. You can see the news is out. It's positive. It fills right there. Okay, we're live. So that's a real fill. And it makes money on the change in direction. It fills long. It bought. It went down and it bought. So it's going to make money as it goes up and reverses. But it wasn't a great move. Okay. And bingo, I was able to get out. Now, this particular day, let's watch again what happens. So you've got two orders on each side. And you also have a cancel the outer tier button. What that means is, so let's say it just fills your inner order and it doesn't look like it's ever going to fill your outer order. And you're not going to wait forever. If the move starts happening to profit, you can click the cancel button and it'll cancel your outer tier. Okay. To close the trade or cancel the trade before it triggers, you hit the close button, not the enabled check mark. With the trap trade, you hit the close button. You still have a combine button, just like in our regular software. Okay, and you have a break even button. You can move your stop to break even if you're in profit. Any setup that we have is just a question of practice. That's all it is. You practice a few, get it under your belt, and you'll get it. You'll get it. So it's 8:30. The news comes out, and we just wait. Now, on a trap trade, I'd probably wait 30 to 45 seconds, maybe longer, depending what the news is, how the market's reacting to it. It's a lot more nuanced of a trade with a lot more judgment than a breakout, which usually is often very instantaneous. So right now the trade's working against us. It filled, but it's still going down. Okay, it filled long. And I'm waiting. Now, right here, it filled one long, okay? But it didn't fill that outer tier. It doesn't look like it's going to fill the outer tier by going down. It missed it and then started changing direction. So I canceled the outer order. That's what happened right there. I just canceled the outer order. So I've only got one position on. It just didn't look like it was getting there. I'm in a small profit. It doesn't really look like it's moving much. So I'm just thinking, well, it's been a minute already. Let's see if we can get out with a couple of bucks and we'll wait for the next one. So that's what I'm doing. Now it starts to move up, not up enough that I want to move my stop to safety. It's just not getting enough of a reversal. It's just not happening. Now it's starting. And I chase it down a little bit and I'm out with like 80 bucks. That was a minute and 40 seconds. Okay. And then it goes up a little bit more and then changes direction. Okay. It was pretty choppy reaction that day. All right. The enemy of a trap trade. Let's look at the enemy of a trap trade. So we could call this, let me record. Hang on. I should have been recording earlier. Now, there are videos, and I've said this many times. I said it yesterday in the trade room. There are videos on the website talking about the trap trade. There's 4 of them. They are talking about version 2, but it's perfectly okay to learn the trap trade from its origins. Yes, we do things differently now because markets are very different, but that's okay. All right, let me see what we're doing. So I'm going to show you the enemy of a trap trade. So we have a similar setup. I'm just getting to the time of the report. Let me get rid of my clock because it's creating confusion. So watch what happens on this particular report. This was October. There was a fair amount, a little bit of extra news that day. You had Empire State. But for whatever reason, the price action goes only in one direction, which is the enemy of the trap trade. It'll just stop you out if that happens. Fills you long there, right? It's going down. It fills both orders. And it never goes into profit, okay? It never enters profit. So you never had an opportunity to do anything except watch it not work. And that will happen. It happens. Now, the recent history of this report is it doesn't often move this way. It more often moves up and down, chopping around, which is better for a trap trade than for a breakout. It just never gave you an opportunity for profit. That will happen. Sometimes it'll happen in a second, right? Sometimes you'll get a monstrously quick move. It'll happen really fast. And that's just part of the game. And this trade, as a trap trade, has been working nicely. So let me explain the setup. And if you've never traded a trap trade before, trade it in sim, okay? Trade it in sim, get comfortable with it. And also, I hope I'll have a new update next week. I hope so. So here's how I'm going to enter my orders. There's actually a strategy called trap trade, okay? You should have downloaded it when you downloaded your software. It said trap trade, version 3. And here's what I'm going to adjust. So the yellow is our setup, okay? So the most important thing, entry time, is really the trade time, okay? Think of entry time as the time of the trade, and that's going to change. That label is one of the labels that's going to change. It's going to say trade time, and the trade time is 8:30, okay? That's the trade time. It's important that it be the exact time of the trade. It's not 8:29:59. It's not that kind of a number. It's just the time of the trade, entry time, which it really shouldn't be called entry time. And like I said, that's already fixed. It didn't used to be called that. And by accident, the programmer made a mistake and I didn't see it. Order prep seconds is the key to when your orders are going to show up on the chart. And I'm only going to use 10 seconds. Maybe I'm going to change it to 5, depending on the market. 10 seconds before 8:30, my trap trade orders are going to show up on the chart. That's all that it means. Okay? That's it. Gold's going to open in 30 seconds. I just want to watch it, okay? It's not going to take long to set this up. I just want to watch it. Sometimes when you have a report as impactful as retail, sometimes that will mute the open. So now the gold market is opening. All right, keep that in mind, that gold's opening on that candle. All right, let's go back to our setup. So I was saying entry time is the actual time of the event. Order prep is how many seconds before the time of the event do our orders go on the chart. And then we pick our tiers, our orders. And traditionally, the trap trade orders have always been a range. And they're a range today. In other words, your order 1 could be 16 to 18 ticks. It could be 16, 17, or 18. Okay. So I'm going to use 17 and 28 on my orders. Those are the amount of ticks away from the current price that I'm going to get filled. Those are my brackets. Think of it like 2 brackets with a trap trade. And how many positions am I going to have? 1 on 1, position 1, and 1 position on contract 2. 2 positions, 1 for each tier. Okay. Some trap trades, if people are running very old versions, the stop loss position might say average fill price. Make sure it says last fill price. By just clicking on that down arrow, it should be last fill price. And the stop is 18. Last fill price, stop 18. That's all I have to adjust other than tell the program what account I'm trading on. All right. Everything else is default. Price at the time is default. Average price bars is default. Position size, I'm choosing 1. Position size 2, I'm choosing 1. Spike is default. Stop loss, the last fill price should be chosen. Stop loss. Break-even profit, meaningless for this trade. I don't cancel automatically, okay? Especially on a trap trade. Tier 1, between 16 and 18. Tier 2, between 25 and 30. The time of the retail news is 8:30, entry time. And the prep, how many seconds before the trade the news comes out do I put my orders on the chart? And it's 10 seconds. And that's the setup, okay? That's our trap trade setup. Apply it, okay it. The gold open kind of surprised me this morning. I thought it was going to go the opposite direction. I'm putting my charts on. And I'm going to enable my trap trade. And see how the logo shows up? That's what we have fixed on the breakout software. So I'm testing that also. Yeah, David, you're right. I'm doing it at a different time. 10 seconds. I don't want to do it at 40. We've been doing this too much. I don't like putting my orders on the chart that early. Two traders, 2 different opinions. It's going to happen occasionally. I mean, it happens a lot, David, if you think about it. We change setups all the time. All the time. It's because markets change. Volatility varies. It's not that it's unsafe on this particular trade. Just because gold's been challenging to trade, I don't want to give it an opportunity to move around a lot before the entry. I'm played. It's 10 seconds. We'll put the orders on the chart 10 seconds before the news comes out. I'm watching the ES, okay? Not trading it, just watching it. They're expecting retail sales. I guess they're actually expecting them to be a little bit down. I think they're going to be up. I don't think there's any chance that retail sales are going to be down. December is showing down, and then the core showing a little bit up. I think retail sales are going to be good. We're going to check our time sync. No, you're always 8:30. Always 8:30 on trade time. Always. You're never changing that other number, only the prep number. That other number never gets changed. It's the time of the trade. It doesn't put the orders on the chart. It's really just for internal programming. It doesn't put the orders on the chart. It's the prep that puts the orders on the chart. So I'm going to check my time sync by going to the website time.is. It likes my computer, time.is. David, you're overthinking this. You're overthinking it. There's two numbers, all right? Two numbers. Entry time, 8:30, never changes. It's always the time of the trade. It never changes. Order preparation seconds, 10 seconds before 8:30. That's what that means. 10 seconds before 8:30, the orders are going to show up on the chart. Entry time is the time the event takes place. It never changes. You don't change that number other than making it the time of the event. That's it. Okay? Very simple. Now it's labeled confusingly, which is fixed, but I just have to test it. The prep number adjusts is 10. The prep number is 10. 10 seconds before 8:30 is what it means. We don't adjust it. We put it in, that's it, and we leave it. We never adjust the time. We just put it in. Right? So make sure you all check your sync. Some things are just a given, right? Like order prep, its definition is a given. If you put in 15, it's going to put orders on the chart 15 seconds before the event. If you put in 20, it'll put them on 20 seconds before. If you put in 1, it'll put the orders on 1 second before. Now there's something called it'll give you a good background. It's interesting to see how we used to use the trap trade, how we used to trade it. It's quite different than the way we trade it now. So gold is up $2 today. I mean, right now there's a bit of a trend on gold. Not nearly as big as we've seen other days, right? We've certainly seen much more gold movement in the mornings. Did Goldman Sachs release their earnings this morning? Well, never mind. Don't even think about it right now. So we have 20 seconds from now, our orders are going to show up. So there's my orders. Okay, those are my tiers, right? If it goes up, it's going to sell. The news is coming out now. It goes up because the news is negative. That's what gold should do. Now, is it going to keep going up and fill my outer tier? Yes. So now I'm a little bit worried that it's just moving in the same direction. I'm going to combine my orders and move them up. I think they're too far away. Okay. They're too far away. Okay. So I made 150 bucks. Okay. Pretty stress-free, folks. Pretty stress-free. Why did I get out so early? Look at the news. The news should be pushing gold up, especially with a gold trend. Maybe I got out a little bit early, which, sometimes I do that on the trap trade. But look, the news was negative and it is pushing gold up. It would have taken my profit just now. So it's just news, common moves. Now I want to watch the market for a minute. The ES didn't do anything. It really, not yet, okay? The news is worse than expected. The ES is already down, so maybe it doesn't want to go much further down. Gold should make a new high here, folks. It should test that new high, in my opinion. More than it should try to test that low, okay? More than it should try to test the low. I'm right about where I got my orders filled. Look, it's pretty choppy, pretty choppy. I'm not going to cry over making $150 in a minute. Maybe I could, if I would have stayed in, I would not have been stopped out, okay? Because let's see, my stop was 18, my entry was 24.80. Let's figure this out. My entry was 24.80. Okay, right there. I think it did go 18 ticks. Oh yeah, it would have stopped me out. It would have stopped me out. It went way more than 18 ticks. So I think we did the right thing. I think we did the right thing. Maybe I could have made did you place orders? No, right. You're right, Chantal. The stop is after the second tier. What would the stop have been, Chantal? It would have been higher. It would have been above the second tier. It would have been above the second tier. So we might not have been stopped out, actually. Hang on. Yeah, I have to look at my second entry was 26. I'll have to check what my second entry was, but it's chopping around pretty close to where I got out. That's interesting. Now the ES is going down. Okay. I think I have a way of trading the ES on this report. But it really, the ES, not a great move. So I don't know if I'm going to take that back. The ES is not a great move. It's moving, but not as big as I would have thought. You used cancel after 10 seconds. What do you mean your orders didn't show up on the chart? You didn't get your tiers? You didn't get the X's? I'd have to see your settings. Check your time also. check your times, check your trade, check your times. Just dots. When you get dots, it sounds like you were on you were on sim when you should have been on live, or you were on live when you should have been on sim. If you just got dots. So now, if we would have, I would not normally hang around in a trade 4 minutes. We'd be underwater. AJ, you made 400 on NQ, but trading discretionary. But that's still very good. That's nice. Retail definitely moves various markets. There's no question that there are opportunities for trading retail. We do things the way we do it, right? That doesn't mean you can't come into the room and do something else and make money. David, what would really be helpful to me, because I can't look at them now, I got to look at it later. Let me see if I can get them now and save them. Hang on. Check all your times. And let me see if I can see the picture of the dots, what you're talking about. Because it doesn't make sense. Where are you located? Where are you located? David, where are you located? Okay, so you're Eastern time. The settings look fine. The settings look okay. Send me a screen. I'd like to see a picture of what you mean by dots. So it's really, folks, just chopping around where we got in and out, where we got out. So yeah, I think there was opportunity to make a little bit more money on this, but not a ton, not a ton. Do you have an ATM strategy running? No, turn it off. You can't run an ATM strategy with our software. You should not do that. And then try to set up another trap trade. I think that's going to solve your problem. You can run an ATM, but not with the program. You can run it separately. Okay. So folks, $1.50 on the trap. I think we kind of grabbed the bulk of the profit today. There was a little bit of a pop down that, you'd have to be psychic probably to have gotten that part of the profit also. So why did I do what I did though? I was a little bit concerned that all the news was totally negative, and all the news being totally negative could have pushed gold up. We were filled short. Okay, so that's a concern. And that's why I didn't hang in the trade that long. And there was also a slight gold trend up. Okay. There also was a slight trend gold up. Now I'm a little bit surprised that the reaction is not more pronounced on gold, to be honest. I would have thought it would be more pronounced. So folks, here's what I'm going to do. Why don't the next room is at 9. The next room is at 9. I want to thank everybody on YouTube. If a couple of you would give us a like, you saw us make money today. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll also know and sign up. You'll know the next time we're going to stream. We stream 3 to 4, sometimes 5 times a week. So